you look at our accounts for the year that's just finished, we recognized about £100,000. So, an early marker of what's to come. And of course, we're able to grow on that revenue. And then we'll also get a second layer of revenue on top of that, which is actually the product royalty. So as soon as the products are released to customers, that royalty kicks in to augment the electrode revenue that we're already recognizing.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Graeme Purdy, the CEO of Ilika. Graeme, very good to speak with you. You've described the past year of strong commercial progress. What do you see as the standout achievements across both the Stereax and Goliath programs?
Well, I know we're going to go into a bit more detail in a moment, but let's start maybe with the single greatest achievements in both businesses. How about that for a start? So on Stereax, we have actually transitioned into a product revenue generating business. So that means that we are now selling our commercial grade electrodes through to Cirtec for incorporation into the first product that's going to be brought to market later this year, which is our M300. So that's really great on that side of the business. And then I would say on the Goliath side of the business, the shipping of our 10 amp hour prototypes through to OEM and commercial customers who have tested those and are validating them right now. And that's been a really interesting transition point, a real milestone that's opening up all sorts of commercial opportunities.
So as you said, Stereax has now moved into commercial production, generating revenue. How significant is that milestone, and what does it mean for the business over the next year?
Well, it's very significant because we expect to be able to grow that revenue stream as we move through this financial year that we've now started. If you look at our accounts for the year that's just finished, we recognized about £100,000. So, an early marker of what's to come. And of course, we're able to grow on that revenue. And then we'll also get a second layer of revenue on top of that, which is actually the product royalty. So as soon as the products are released to customers, that royalty kicks in to augment the electrode revenue that we're already recognizing.
With Goliath, you're seeing growing interest beyond electric vehicles, particularly in defense and e-bikes. How does that broaden Ilika's commercial opportunity, and could these markets generate revenue sooner?
Well, look, the 10 amp hour prototypes that we sent out for evaluation at the end of last year were really prototypes on our EV roadmap. But there were some inbound inquiries requesting access to those prototypes for non-EV applications. And actually, the feedback has been very positive, and we now intend to productize those prototypes. And part of the use of funds for the placing that we'll talk about in a few minutes is allocated to that. So effectively, the validation of those cells, making them robust for commercial deployment. And we're very excited about both the defense sector and also some consumer appliances, in which I include e-bikes.
I mean, as you mentioned, Graeme, you've recently strengthened the balance sheet with a £5 million fundraising. What are the key milestones investors should be watching over the next 12 months as you continue to commercialize both product lines?
Yeah, there's some really exciting stuff that we expect to be able to talk to the markets about in the coming 12 to 18 months. I mean, first of all, on the Stereax side, we'll be supporting Cirtec's marketing efforts across their customer base, and that will be generating news flow as we go with them to trade shows and engage with some of the big OEMs, the big brand names in this sector. We expect to see some integration of Stereax in the Cirtec technology platforms, because remember that Cirtec's got a broad portfolio of medical devices that they sell to the OEMs. And part of the real attraction of that relationship is the fact that they have some platforms into which the Stereax batteries fit. So it's not just a component offering, it's more of a solution offering. And that will, of course, then trigger those royalty payments. And then on the Goliath side of the business, first of all, non-EV stuff, the 10 amp hour MVP delivery, some letters of intent and commercial agreements with commercial partners there, and early revenues from those 10 amp hour sales. We expect that to filter through to our P&L this year. And then on the EV commercialization roadmap, partner validation. There's some big names that are testing our batteries at the moment. Some more grant support, that whole 2-for-1 thing, where when we spend money on R&D and development for the automotive sector, we're heavily supported by the APC, the Advanced Propulsion Center, and the BIP, the Battery Innovation Program, formerly known as the Faraday Battery Challenge. So plenty of UK agency government support there, and of course driving towards that first option to license.
Graeme, I'm sure we're going to be having lots of discussions in the year ahead. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Stephen. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Graeme Purdy, the CEO of Ilika.